You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Make the most of your youth. Your 20s are the best years for building habits, or by 30 your life is already set. At first it sounds like just another cliche, another well-intentioned but vague piece of advice. But what if I told you there is one single thing, one core principle, that you absolutely must take seriously before you hit 30? It's not about chasing money, or getting fit, or even mastering productivity hacks. It's about something far deeper, far closer to the essence of who you are and who you will become. And if you don't do this before 30, you might wake up one day, years later, filled with a regret so sharp it feels like it could shatter your soul. This isn't clickbait. It's the harsh truth overlooked by many who rush through their 20s without understanding what really shapes a life well lived. So, buckle up. In the next few minutes, we'll explore exactly what this one thing is, why it has the power to change everything for you, and how you can start embracing it today, no matter your current circumstances. Imagine your life as a blank canvas when you're born, painted stroke by stroke with your choices, beliefs, habits, and experiences. The 20s are like sketching the rough outlines, deciding the shapes, the general composition. By the time you turn 30, many people have chosen the colors, filled in the details, and sealed their canvas with a layer of varnish, making their life's pattern irreversible unless they're willing to risk a complete overhaul. Now, you've probably noticed people who seem to have everything together well before 30, their careers aligned, relationships stable, purpose clear. Others are still fighting their way through, confused about their direction and motivations. Here's the kicker. The difference isn't just luck or intelligence. It boils down to identity formation, a psychological cornerstone that's profoundly underestimated. And yet, this is the real game changer. Identity is the who behind your actions. It's not the fleeting motivation that inspires a morning workout or a week of diets, but the very story you tell yourself about who you are. People who say, I am disciplined, I am creative, or I am someone who finishes what they start, have essentially wired a part of their brain to support those beliefs. This wiring influences how you behave automatically and consistently. The problem? Most of us wander through our 20s without consciously shaping this identity. We take on roles, habits, and expectations, sometimes from family, society, or peer pressure, and don't pause to ask, is this really my story? Who do I want to be? Instead, we get caught chasing external achievements, thinking that success will magically rewrite how we see ourselves. But that's backwards. If you don't actively invest in this identity work before 30, you risk anchoring an identity that feels disconnected from your true values or potentials. Suddenly, you find yourself stuck in a life that doesn't satisfy you, and the harder you try to change, the more resistance you feel. Because your brain clings to the old, familiar story like a life raft. But here's the good news. Identity can be changed, consciously and intentionally. It's not just a label you wear, it's a lens to reinterpret your habits and decisions, and this lens can become clearer or foggier depending on the work you put in. And the earlier you start, the easier the process. Before you think this sounds like some abstract psychology lesson, consider this powerful truth. If you master this principle before 30, everything else in your life, your discipline, relationships, career choices, health, will become exponentially easier. Because you won't be dragging around limiting beliefs or half-baked self-images. You'll be stepping into who you want to be, fully and unapologetically. Contrast this with the alternative, drifting through your 30s, 40s, or beyond, feeling stuck, frustrated, and confused, because you never took the time to sculpt your identity. You might keep trying to fake motivation, force habits, or change your circumstances, but without the core sense of who you are, these efforts feel exhausting and temporary. So, what exactly is this thing you must do before 30? It's simple yet profound. Asterisk, invest deeply in understanding and shaping your identity through deliberate experience and reflection. This isn't about reading a book once and hoping for a breakthrough. It's about immersing yourself in challenges that expose who you truly are when you're tested. It's about seeking discomfort that pushes you to question your narrative so you can mold it intentionally rather than passively accept it. It's about consistent reflection on your values and decisions, aligning your daily actions with a deeper sense of purpose that you own fully. You might be thinking, this sounds intimidating. How do I even start? Let me guide you through some powerful but practical steps that anyone can take, no matter where you're starting from. First, realize that action is the fastest way to discover your identity. It's easy to get stuck in endless thinking, self-help rabbit holes, or motivational quotes. But if you want to know who you are, watch how you behave when things get tough. What challenges are you willing to endure? What are you willing to sacrifice? Because identity is built through the times you show up for yourself, even when it hurts. For example, take a simple challenge, commit to a 30-day practice, like waking up early, journaling your thoughts, or dedicating time to a skill you want to master. Notice how your feelings about yourself shift as you complete these small but meaningful actions daily. You're not just proving your discipline, you're rewriting your story to I am someone who follows through. Next, embrace discomfort as a tool for growth. Many people avoid pain or struggle, thinking life should be easier. The truth is, avoiding discomfort often cements old identities that limit us. But when you lean into a challenge, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, you expose cracks in your self-concept, and these cracks are the entry points for building stronger, more resilient identities. Think of it like sculpting. You chip away at the old, rough edges by pushing through discomfort, revealing a clearer version of yourself beneath. This might mean having tough conversations, exploring new environments, or even failing spectacularly at something you care about. But the payoff is a deeper understanding of what you stand for. Another key step is mindful reflection. This means setting aside time regularly, daily or weekly, to ask yourself critical questions. What did I learn about myself today? What beliefs drove my actions? Are these beliefs serving or limiting me? Reflection turns experience into wisdom, helping you catch repeating patterns and adjust your internal narrative to match your highest aspirations. Remember, this process isn't about becoming perfect or having it all figured out. It's about authenticity, discovering and embracing your true values and strengths while shedding what no longer aligns. Now let's contrast this with what happens when you ignore this work. You might chase typical markers of success, promotions, relationships, material things, but feel hollow inside. You might struggle to build lasting habits or find meaningful joy, constantly battling with a voice in your head saying, I'm lazy, I'm not enough, or this isn't for me. This voice isn't the truth. It's a worn script that never got rewritten. And here's the harsh reality. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to change. Your brain thrives on pattern and repetition. After a decade or more, the identity you live by feels nearly permanent. Not because it is, but because it has been rehearsed for so long. Changing it requires a level of effort and discomfort many are unwilling to endure later in life. Contrast this with the flexibility of your 20s. Your brain is still malleable, habits form faster, perspectives are still evolving, and the stakes are relatively low. This makes your 20s the perfect time to experiment with identity. So here's the brutal question. How much longer will you wait to take control of your story? The regret you feel when you look back on the years you could have spent shaping yourself intentionally may be the heaviest burden of all. To avoid that, start creating a life mission statement. Write down who you want to be, not just what you want to do. This statement acts like a North Star, guiding your choices and reminding you during tough times why the struggle is worth it. When your struggle has meaning, you don't give up, you persevere. For example, maybe your mission is, I want to live as a compassionate leader who inspires others, or I want to be a lifelong learner committed to growth, or I want to build a creative career that leaves an impact. Whatever it is, be specific and personal. Now, align your daily habits with this mission. If you want to be a leader, seek opportunities to practice leadership daily. If you want to be a lifelong learner, commit to learning even when it's uncomfortable. If you want creativity to be central, carve time for creative work regularly. Every time you act in alignment with your mission, your identity grows stronger and clearer. And here's the secret, this process becomes addictive. The more you live in alignment, the more you want to live in alignment. It creates a positive feedback loop that propels you forward. Contrast this again with living disconnected from your mission. That feels like drifting aimlessly, a constant battle of willpower against apathy. It's exhausting and unsustainable. Another critical but often overlooked aspect is choosing your social environment wisely. Identity is contagious. The people you spend time with influence who you believe you are. Surround yourself with people who embody the values and behaviors you want to cultivate. Their energy, habits, and mindset will rub off on you, either raising your standards or lowering them. So if you want to be disciplined, creative, or successful, be with those who naturally show those traits. You might dislike some of them at first. Uncomfortable new social dynamics are part of growth, but in the long run, they pull you upward. Let me pause here and give you a chance to absorb these foundational ideas so far. This is just the beginning, but the foundation for true transformation. You might ask, what about failures? What if I try and still fall back into old patterns? Here's a truth that changed everything for me. Failure isn't the enemy. Meaninglessness is. Failing at something that genuinely matters to you is growth, not defeat. But doing something just because you feel you should without passion or purpose is soul-crushing. And this is why your 20s are so precious. It's the best time to discover what truly matters, so your failures build you up rather than break you down. I want you to imagine a life where every day you wake up driven by a purpose that you own fully, where challenges fire you up rather than wear you down, where you look in the mirror and say, yes, that's who I am. This life isn't a fantasy. It's waiting just on the other side of intentional identity work. Work you can start today. The clock is ticking and the stakes couldn't be higher. So I ask again, if you don't do this before 30, what might you regret forever?